Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the State of Dallas podcast. I'm Billy Embody. Thanks for listening. Appreciate all of you guys joining us on the Dave Campbell's Texas Football Network, the Republic of Football podcast. Find it, Apple, Spotify, wherever you catch your podcast at. You can also catch us on the Dave Campbell's YouTube channel. Find us, subscribe, follow, like, do all the things. Appreciate you guys listening. SMU coming off of a 69-10 win over Tulsa last week on homecoming for the Mustangs. They earned bowl eligibility. They earned one of the largest margins of victory once again in program history. The Mustangs are absolutely cooking right now, getting through a stretch of games that include Charlotte, East Carolina, Temple, and now Tulsa. They're 4-0 in AAC play, sitting very much in control of their own destiny for this AAC championship game appearance chase that is going on with programs like SMU, Tulane, UTSA is hanging around, Memphis, all of those programs very much in the mix. Florida Atlantic, and even Rice, I believe, still on life support there for that, but they'll need a lot of help. But Rice is who SMU plays this weekend, 6:30 p.m. Central on ESPNU. But look, SMU took care of business against a Tulsa team that now sits at 3-5 overall. The Mustangs were very much in control start to finish. They were up 52-3. The 52 first half points are the most in the first half this season against an FBS opponent. And the 49-point halftime lead is the highest by an FBS team this season. Again, this wasn't Prairie View A&M. This was Tulsa, a team that historically has had enough athletes to give SMU a lot of issues. Last year, they gave SMU, a game up there in Tulsa, and a program that has historically played SMU tough. And just 2 years ago, beat SMU in Sonny Dykes' last game in Dallas as SMU head coach, at least. And now the Mustangs moved to 6-0 when they've scored at least 30 points in a game. Once again, they had at least 8 receivers catch a pass, and that has happened in every game this season. Preston Stone, SMU's quarterback, now ranks 10th in the NCAA in touchdown passes with 19, and took home a bunch of weekly honors as he passed for a career-high 371 yards and 3 touchdowns in less than 2 quarters. Think about this. If he was, let's say, in a shootout with Tulsa and there was defense optional on both sides, he would have been on pace to break the single-game NCAA passing yardage mark, which I believe is about 714 or so by Patrick Mahomes and another quarterback that's tied with him. This team has outscored conference opponents 189-36, and in part because of that, now continue to receive votes in the coaches poll for a second straight week. It's hard to quantify for SMU fans how impressive SMU has been, because we know that Tulsa, Temple, and Charlotte in particular are not the best, competition that they could face by any means. But this is an SMU team that historically has not been able to play lesser opponents and beat them this badly. They're a program that has been kind of working towards that. I think last year against USF, SMU took care of business in a big way. I'd have to go back and look, but to do what they've done in all the games that they've really been, I'm pretty sure outside of Oklahoma and TCU, they've been favored in every game. To go out and dominate for the most part the way they have every other game this year is really impressive. SMU is a good football team. They are a good football team that should be playing for the AAC championship in December. That's how much talent they have. That's how much, I think, growth we've seen from this team even since the beginning of the year. Keep in mind, Preston Stone, very much not efficient as efficient as this staff would have liked him to be early in the season. He had his moments, like against Oklahoma. I thought he played really well. There were throws he wanted to have back, but that's football. There were times, though, kind of against TCU, against East Carolina, even against Charlotte, he had an interception, because he put one behind him. You look back on some of those, and you don't sit there and say, "Wow, that is a championship level quarterback." He has worked really, really hard to improve his short to intermediate passing. Um, I think SMU has done a nice job of scheming up some guys to be a little bit more open in particular areas of the field, talking like, especially like 10 to 20 yards, probably like 12 to 20 yards down the field. I'm talking like sail routes, overs, things like that. And even some of those passes that he's been able to find guys beyond the first down marker, in between, the safety help over the top, and then maybe a corner playing up toward the line of scrimmage. He's done a really nice job finding those things. And so you look at Preston's development, and now you sit here and say, okay, 4 games to go. SMU sitting at 6-2 overall. They've got Rice this week, 6:30 p.m. Central on ESPNU down there in Houston. Then they've got to face North Texas, and then they've got to face Memphis, and they've got to face Navy. You feel good about 3 of those 4 while knowing that there's a real chance that somewhere along the way you could stumble. But what I like about Preston Stone is he is really starting to play with more confidence. And Preston always looks like a guy that is confident and has enthusiasm and all those things. But I said this even since the East Carolina game, he was more confident going into that game. He showed it early, showed it late. Things were bad in the middle. But since then, he has shown that confidence and backed it up with pretty much, perfect play for the most part. There's stuff here and there, but, exactly what you wanted to see from him, he's done the last 2 weeks. And to a clip that we really haven't seen since I've been covering at SMU. On this level where they've been able to dominate 2 conference teams like this, it's pretty wild. And now you build a little bit more momentum because Tulsa, again, kind of been a team that played you tough. And so you have Preston Stone playing well. You have a run game that was able to produce offensively with guys like Kamar Wheaton totaling 100 plus all-purpose yards. He was really, really good against Tulsa. He had 2 touchdowns as well, 8.9 yards per carry. LJ Johnson, 8 carries, 39 yards, 4.9. Jalen Knighton, 6 carries, 34 yards and a touchdown, 5.7. This offense rolled up 638 yards of offense. They were 4 of 10 on third down. Not great, but when you're able to produce like they were, and again, remember, this is a team that SMU had the backups in the entire second half. So I don't even know. I guess I could look real quick what it was at the half. Do first half. SMU was 2 of 5 on third downs with a 4th down conversion. So really 3 of 5 or 3 of 6 in critical conversion opportunities, I guess. So 50%. I think all the things you wanted to see against a team that should have presented a tougher opposition to you, you did. And defensively, SMU continues to impress. They just continue to do it all the right way. 247 total yards allowed. Just 14 first downs on the game. Again, second half, they tried to rotate a good bit of guys in. They were 5 of 17 on third downs, 2 fourth down stops, 3.4 yards per play. That's sick. And then, the run defense was sacks taken out, 3.6 yards per carry. That's pretty good. I I haven't seen anything like this in a minute. And SMU now in the total defense in the AAC continued to raise up their bar even higher. They're number one in the league in total defense. They're 12th nationally in 280.8 yards per game given up. SMU is right up there for yards per play allowed as well. And they're actually third nationally in yards per play allowed, which is just insane, 4.14.